Hello, welcome to the Electricians Monday Club. Sorry, I was just copying Sam. Go on, mate, you do it.
A quick message from our latest sponsor, Life Audio. Now, they are looking for registered installers around the country. Head over and send an email to lifeaudio@cwagencies.london. It's a great way of upselling your customer, adding value to your jobs. And you get a free t-shirt once you become a registered installer. You get some stickers, and it's a great product to be associated with. Head over to cwagencies.london. All the technobabble and all the links will be in the show notes. Go and check it out. Hello and welcome. It's the Electricians Monday Club, and we're back.
Hello, everybody. Sorry we missed last week. That was my fault. My bad.
Nick's a bit of a bell housing.
I was working away with the legend that is Jack from JRC, Mike from Greenhawk Construction, Mike's apprentice, Jack, and we had no internet, we had no signal, and to be honest with you, I completely forgot until the next time when Sam said, it's okay, we won't do Monday, we'll do Wednesday, and we also stayed Wednesday, so my bad.
Yeah, and he just kept pieing it off all week, and then what did you do on Friday?
I went to have the day off because we finished a day early. I had a call out in the morning. No, I did. Called out in the morning. And then I went across to Trade Legends podcast and I was the host because Alex wasn't there. So I hosted with PB.
So he blew out his own podcast to do Trade Legends.
Yes.
Why?
Because it's wicked cool.
But definitely not. And it don't get as many views as we do. So
it doesn't get as many views, but it was an enjoyable experience. I got quite a lot of free products as usual.
Listen.
Yes.
So for the viewers out there, Nick pied you off, mugged you off, and yeah. But anyway, moving on from that, today's subject is scrap metal.
It is commercial, domestic. We're going to go through what we do, what other people do, and is it worth stripping copper out, taking it to the tap man, or smell it down into copper?
Don't say tap man, like it's not like
that's tap run. That's what we call it.
Call it tap run.
Tap run.
Who says
now
that?
Then, also I'll let everyone know. Tomorrow I'm packing a bag in a little bit. Adam and I are going up to north to see now then Mark Allison, apprentice 1-1, Matty, his lad, and a few other apprentices. And we've also going with John that we had on the podcast a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, Van Man.
Yeah, Van Man. John's up there, so it's his job. So we're going to get some footage up there. The reason we're going, it's because there's EV chargers going in. It's 3-phase boards, containment, all the stuff that Sam normally does. But Adam's going to be doing it for his portfolio for work.
Sweet. Just take his time. Don't rush it. It's not like house bashing.
Because we're using, what's the sort of wooden plastic board that you put on the bottom of the 3-phase board? What's that called?
Plaxiline.
Yeah, I've never used that, so we're going to have a go with that as well, Mark said.
Yeah. It just smells horrible when you cut it. Don't breathe it in. I think it's carcinogenic. I don't know why you're using Plaxiline. Just use 50mm bush and lock wings.
Well, I don't know. That's what I told we're doing, so that's what we're doing. Anyway, back onto the main subject of the story. Tap runs, tap man, strap metal, whatever you want to call it. Domestic-wise, when we're doing rewires especially, once the floorboards are up and we've got the normal main runs that we would take up from fuse board to the landing, we cut out any old existing cable, we keep it, we cut it up in a ball, it comes to me at the unit, and then eventually when it fills up, we then take it to the scrapyard, weigh it in. It's not a lot of effort, but I know that some people go out their way to physically pull out as much copper and as much old cable as possible, where the labor-intensive side of going and picking these floorboards up is less cost-effective than the actual copper that's pulled out. But
so on my one, what I'm doing at the moment is I'll be taking an old CT room or a CT scanner room, ripping everything out, and then putting all new in.
Yeah,
so that's
what size cables are we talking though? Are we talking just standard stuff, or
it depends? It all depends because a lot of the time you're doing a PDU, which is a power distribution unit, from a main incomer. So it can be like some 50mm tails and stuff like that. Some really good stuff. On this one, I opened up the PDU and he goes, "Are they the old colours?" I was like, "Yeah, they weren't.
Yes, they are.
About that fat."
Straight in the toolbox. Yeah. Well, this is what we did years ago with when I did sort of the commercial industrial stuff when I was first learning. Is we were putting massive ladder runs up on the roof, up the dry rises, we were pulling the main incomers to the transformers. They were massive cables, mate. Like stuff thicker than your leg. There was like 6 of us kicking it in just to tie wrap it down. And we were allowed to keep. They obviously were very careful and be cautious of the guys that are in charge of how much is pulled down. You know, we're not pulling 6 meters through to have off, but they said there's anything spare you can sort of take. And I remember piling up. We would strip because it was so big. It was so simple to strip down to bare copper. You were talking thick, good thick bits like this, foot long. We would cut them to size, and we'd all take an empty toolbox each, fill it up, and that toolbox, I got about 350 quid just for a toolbox worth.
See, I've had some brilliant scrap runs. I think I've told this story before. We had I was on a job at Tesco's in Purley, and Tesco's are a funny bunch. Part of their price when they have like anything refurbed, they take an estimated value of the scrap that comes out
Really?
off of the quote.
Right.
Like they're proper tight.
Never heard
Anyway,
of that.
anything that's left over as well, they want to keep. So any new stuff, new cable that they've
Left on the drum sort of thing.
yeah, they want to keep. Anyway, I don't know if I should even be telling this story, but we went up onto the top of the roof to fix the clock at Purley Tesco's, and there must have been 500 lengths of copper tube like that. Like mad lengths of copper tube. And I was like, go and get the lighting boxes. So we got the lighting boxes and the chop saw, and we were chopping it up. Because it had been up there for 15 years.
We're never going to use it, were they? Still,
15
probably
years.
not your property, but yeah.
But so we was coming down with these big boxes full of copper. And I think we doubled our wages that week. And didn't even dent it.
It's crazy, isn't it? I mean, you look at now material prices going up, because one subject I want to touch on a little bit is the fuel prices. Yeah, which is a bit of a big one. But I think as a domestic spark, I think you can take out what you can reach. I think that's within reason of snipping under. And some customers we've had before, we've had to leave the tap for 1 or 2 jobs, which is fine. It's your place. We say we'll rip out as much as we can and we'll take it away. We've had a guy that said he wanted to keep it because he's had a tap pile in the garden or whatever. So, yeah, sound like it's not our stuff, but I'm not going out of my way to get it out. Do you know what I mean?
I honestly don't care. Like when you've been in commercial for as long as I have, you've seen crazy moments about 20 quid's worth of scrap. I've seen people actually have like go toe to toe over 20 quid, and I've seen like people get accused of stealing, and then people do steal. People get greedy, so they're running like there's 400 quid there between 3 of you, and they're running and come back and go, oh, we only got 200 quid for that.
Yeah, show me the paperwork. But it's the thing as well with tat, especially. I'm gonna say tat. You know what I mean? It's scrap copper. In the domestic side, if you're running a business, I have to put it all through the business because it's taxable.
It is.
And it's in class as an income. And it was back in the day when I first started. It was when the scrap man up our area, Stafford one, you go to him and he'd give you pound notes.
Yes,
that's the thing. And then there was a lot of thefts going around. A lot of people stripping the copper off churches, from shops, like all the lightning.
Churches, isn't it?
Yeah, all the lightning protection.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, lead being ripped off loads of the old buildings, and it was happening a lot. And so they had to put, and then they started doing all the water blueprints on all the network rail cables.
That's it. Yeah.
So for the UV light, if it was to shine, if you take to a scrapyard, they'll shine the UV light on it to see if it's been stolen or it's, whatever it is. But then they put obviously like a track and trace thing in. So you have to put your driving license, your home address. You have to register a bank card there. And they also have your registration for your vehicle.
It's so long.
So
there used to be one down in across Mitcham Common in Croydon, and it was good because even when they brought all this stuff in where you had to be paid in a check or you had to be paid into your account. Well, no one wanted to be paid into the account. So you go there, you get your check, you would literally turn round and there'd be a check-in window. And for £1, you can check your check and get cash.
What?
So that's how they got round it. So they give you a check.
Okay. Yeah.
So you had to register properly. So you had to put your name and address and all that. And then they give you a check. You turn around, give them the check, and £1, and then they would give you your cash.
Fair play.
It was
Fair play.
brilliant.
Well, this is a way that you get taxed on it. Annoyingly, I look at it and go, you've already bought the cable, you've already paid the tax on the cable. Surely what's left is you're actually recycling. If it's just scrap stuff of leftovers, technically it's being put to good use instead of being put in a bin.
Well, this is it. You must be able to make that argument based on. So, say you buy 200 meters of I don't know, 50 mil armored.
Yeah.
And you only use 10. But then the rest you strip, and not that you would. It's a completely nonsense idea.
Yeah.
But say you did, and you scrapped it, and you've already paid the tax on it.
I know.
What are you paying again for?
I don't know. It's just a way of government getting more money out of you. Like we said about the VAT threshold and all that sort of stuff last week. But yeah, it's one of the things now they've made it so difficult for people to steal and to weigh stuff in. It made, I wouldn't say more really difficult. They've made it more difficult for people to do it. So that's a thing. But if you do it legitimately like we are, it's just scrap cable. I'm an electrician. I turn up in my electrical van. You can go, well, this is what it is. But
I mean, to be honest with you, so on these jobs, everything goes in a skip. So it's up to us whether we keep the scrap.
Yeah.
I probably had about 10 bags out of it, 10 rubble sacks, some quite good grade cable, but some of it's just like singles and stuff like that. But I've sort of started collecting it, and now I've got like quite a bit.
Because you said to me about the cable stripper a couple of weeks ago, didn't you?
Yeah. So what do you reckon about cable strippers? Are they worth it? You see these ones you get off of Amazon is where you got yours from, isn't it?
Yeah. So mine was. If anyone hasn't seen the video, I bought a big cable stripping machine. It's about.
I'll link to the video.
Yeah, it's about 4 foot. It's about a foot wide. All different cable slots for different sizes. For me, for being a YouTuber, it worked great because the video generated the money for the cable. But I did work out if in the video, if you were to buy the cable stripping machine and then to spend the time and effort of stripping the cable to weigh it in, you almost break even. But then that time the cable stripper is then paid for itself. The next time it will be more efficient. But really, anything less than 6 mil, you don't want to be stripping. 6 mil and above, strip. Anything below, waste of time.
So
that's what it worked out. Singles pointless. 1 mil 2.5, maybe 4 mil. I didn't really try 4 mil, but nothing. I'd do it now. I don't touch anything less than 6 mil. So the best thing is to strip of tails and bonding cables. Really, they're the best things.
We get some fat cables. I've got some tails. I've got meters and meters of tails. Like
what's that? 25 mil.
25, 35.
Yeah, so they strip through one run through, and it takes both layers of insulation off, and you literally just peel it like a banana. And it's we have boxes.
So
we just
beautiful when it's done.
I know.
It'll be like bullion.
Yeah, so it's worth it. I mean, the video I did with Dave not long ago, we've got boxes and boxes stacked up, and it's probably 60k worth of strip copper. Which, if you would convert it to what strip copper per kilo now,
so
£6.
No, it's nearly £7 at the moment.
All right, yeah. So let me get the old calculator out. 60 times, let's say 7. That's 420 quid just in strip copper. Where that's taking me, I don't know, let's say 3-4 hours continuous to do and chop up. If you were to divide that by, let's say 5 hours, it's taking me. That's £84 an hour. I'm on.
Still worth it, though, isn't it?
Very worth it, yeah. If you do it in your spare time, a lot of lads in the video commented saying they like to just do it in an evening when they chill out, they have a beer in the garden in the summer, they get the kids involved or whatever, and it's free money really at the end of the day. But you just need to be careful with weighing it in. You make sure you're paying your tax because there's a link to everything you do, and the tax man can see everything. That's my advice to everyone.
It is like you are going to get hit for tax on it, no matter what you do. Even if you run in like 200 quid a year, they're gonna call you for the tax on it.
And you need to have a little sniff, and then they start poking around, and then that's it.
Yeah, it's griefy. So verdict.
I think it's worth it. Domestic wise, what I do, worth it, but pick and choose the jobs. And if you've got a place to store it, it's worth doing it all through the year. People do say to me though, don't scrap it in just before Christmas. Because they know everyone will do it, and they drop the prices.
They do.
So if anything, have a look. Maybe do it in October time before the prices drop.
Yeah, or you do it after Christmas.
Yeah, if the prices go back up, let's say end of Jan, beginning of Feb, yeah.
So for me, with scrap cable, historically in commercial, you could get some right touches where you can get loads and loads of copper come out.
Yeah,
But invariably, the person in charge will just have it all for themselves.
of course. And they say
Um,
they will share it around and give it as a.
you might get a drink, you might get 50 quid, but if you think, and that's a lot. I've had a few drinks in my time, but on this job, because I'm the guy in charge, it's all mine.
Oh, fucking, well, I'm about to say arsehole people in charge, but then yeah. To
It's
be
all
fair,
mine.
yeah, it all swings and roundabouts, and at some point, someone else will be in charge, and they'll do the same thing.
Yeah. I just need you to hear what's going on out there. Chaos. I'm staying in, where is it? Stockport.
I know a Stockport. He's not far from me, then.
No, I'm in Stockport, and that's meant to be a bit of a dosso, isn't it?
I don't know.
So it's meant to be a bit rough around here, and I'm staying in the city centre, in what could be classed as some sort of trampy hotel type thing.
Not as bad as mine and Adam's the other day. Did you see that on TikTok, on Instagram?
Mate, this is pretty ropey. The windows shake as people walk past. I've had about 3 people knock at my door. I'm just not
Oh, you're
answering.
south of Manchester, right? Yeah, you're only about an hour from me.
Yeah, and all I can. There's so many nitties outside, all sort of scurrying around.
What's that mean? What's the
A
nitty?
nitty, that's like, like druggies and stuff like
Oh,
that,
right.
just sort of scurrying around, all up to no good, just trying to get fixes. And I'm just sitting there looking and thinking, Jesus,
And here we
where
go.
am
You
I?
have some crap copper. Have some. Go away.
Yeah. Well, my van's definitely getting broken into tonight. Definitely.
It's company van. You'll be all right.
There's nothing I can do. See, look at this bullshit. I'm not answering.
Who's ringing you?
It doesn't matter who's ringing me.
Why did it ring once?
I don't know, but I'm not answering it.
Oh my god, you're going to get murdered in the night.
I'm
Anyway,
definitely getting murdered.
100%. It was nice to
They've
know you.
heard, yeah, they've heard me talking about that. That couldn't have been better on cue, could it?
Second
They've heard me
subject.
calling them nitties.
Yeah, sitting with the door with a cup. Next subject: fuel prices. They're absolutely going through the roof. Adam continuously tells me every day, "Oh, I can't believe it's £1.84 today." It's like, mate, I don't care, because to me, I need to get fuel regardless. It doesn't matter.
But it's starting to, isn't it?
And now I'm driving around Stafford and I'm looking at the different fuel stations. And the first time in my life, I'm going, oh god, it's 4p cheaper at Tesco.
Mate, I get my fuel for free, and I'm still looking at it thinking,
ludicrous. Well,
this
now
is
it's not just the fuel as well, because everyone's going, oh, I'm glad I've got an electric car. Your electricity's going up as well, mate. By a lot.
So
by
what
a lot.
about this? 40% in April, another 40% in October.
Yeah.
What do they do? Like,
Was it household bills are going up by £2,500 combined?
Brilliant.
Wow. I did see a little joke the other day saying I pulled up outside a guy who just filled his put some fuel in his car, and as I pulled forward, I saw he put £10 in. Where was he going? Pump 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
This is the thing, though. This is the thing. All of a sudden, it's gone up. Like, oh, we need to put it up. Oh,
It's
there's a
Russia.
war in Russia. Well,
Yeah.
I know you didn't just buy them barrels, so why are you putting it up now?
Because they know there's going to be some sort of shortage in the near future, so they're putting prices up now so they can compensate for buying it more expensive elsewhere.
When did they go down, though?
They don't ever.
Exactly.
Ever.
So when it's peace and love in the world, right, and it's all
They're going to
good,
go, oh, absolutely not.
and they'll be like, oh, no.
It's getting too hot now outside. The fuel's going to go off. We need to raise the prices.
Yeah, and I don't get it. And I don't understand what... And people are trying to tell me, oh, it's because they buy it in from this place and that place. Well, it's still the same. They're still producing the same amount they was producing 3 weeks ago. So why is it going up for?
I've just told you.
No, it's not. It's lies. I don't care. I've got my tinfoil hat on. There's a liberty going on.
Okay. But what I saw the other day is what makes perfect sense. Instead of everyone spending copious amounts of money, and I'm talking millions upon billions of pounds towards ridiculous things in the UK or over the world, why isn't all this money just gone put right? Let's just all put a couple of mil aside. Let's get some renewable energy going for everyone, and then we'll be sorted. We can all have electric cars that are realistically run free of charge, let's say.
Yeah, but I don't want to... Listen, I've got to be honest with you.
You don't want a Tesla?
No, I want a Tesla. I
Yeah.
don't want any of the other ones. I watched Top
I'd
Gear
have
the
a
other day.
Tesla or a Ford F-150 Lightning.
Yeah, but
Either would be great.
listen,
Ford, hit me up. Tesla, Elon. We've got a YouTube channel.
listen. Let me tell you. I watched Top Gear the other day, but the one with the caravans, where they got like these new caravans
What
with
the new presenters?
yeah,
Right.
and they was towing these new caravans with um, the top end Audi one. I think it's a Volvo one,
The
and
electric, the e-tron.
electric. Yeah, mate, they're only good for about 110 miles.
Yeah, once they're towing with capacity, and depending on the climate as well, if it's too cold, they'll have shorter range. It's too hot, shorter range. If
It's not
Jordan's
ready.
driving, the handbrake stays on.
It's not ready. It's not
No.
ready. I
I
listened
think
to
it is. They're
Tesla.
just putting out in dribs and drabs to make you want it's like iPhones. Oh, this model, we're going to make the battery last 3 minutes longer, but the model after will be 6. Brilliant. And we will all throw our money at it because that's the way the world works. We all want the technology just doesn't just appear one day and go, this is what we've made. We've tested it for a few years in the background.
This is
Here
how
you
you
go.
know. This is how you know, right? This is how you know I don't buy into that. Because this is an Oppo, right? This phone
Everybody, it's
is an
trash.
Oppo.
It's shito. That's what it is.
Watch this.
Okay, his little camera comes out. Oh, it doesn't even work. Look, press the button, Sam. Press the button
Right.
again. That's 4 times now.
There you go. Look,
Oh,
it's
it's got
it.
a little camera that pokes out the top.
How good's that? That's the
I'm
only
surprised
reason I
Dave
bought it.
Savey doesn't have that. He showed me his new phone the other day. It's like a knockoff BlackBerry. It's so crap.
Yeah, but this is the thing. I know you personally have spent at least 8 grand on Apple shit in the last three years.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, and it's all shit.
What's wrong with my iPad Pro?
Yeah, it's good this week, but you'll be buying another one next week. Going, oh, the new one's out.
Well, yeah, because I can.
Yeah, but what's the point? They ain't
Because
no better.
I like the newer ones.
Yeah, but they're not any better. They're
I didn't
exactly
say
the
that. I didn't
same.
say I'm buying it because it's better. I said because it's a new one.
Yeah, so
Because
you're
I'm
a
in a
sucker.
competition with my mate. Every time a new Apple product comes out, I have to have the newer one before him. That's the rules.
Yeah, but listen, this is why you're a sucker.
I'd be a sucker if I couldn't afford it. That's the difference. People that are buying products or getting
Still
new
a
contracts
sucker
out when they
because
can't afford it,
you're, s-
suckers.
you're spending good money on a vanity project.
That's fine.
Oh look,
I,
what's that fine? But listen, anyway, should we talk about electrical shit?
yeah. What I've been doing, full rewire, messing around. Next week, what's it with Mark? Week after. This is an interesting one for you. So, Guy of YouTube's got me. We're starting to rewire end of March, and even though every room has been taken back to bare brick, so rewire is pretty good. He wants kinetic or kinetic switching everywhere rather than hardwired. Even though
Why?
when we do suggest you have kinetic or kinetic stuff, it's for less damage on the property. But he is looking to the future and have a smart tech, so all this will be able to be used across his phone, tablets, all that sort of stuff. I can vouch for it. We've done 8, 9 rewires with the kinetic stuff now. Never had one receiver go wrong. I think it's fantastic, but what's your opinion on it? I know you can't beat hardwired, but what he's asking for is a bit out the ordinary, really.
So what is it all going to be that? So
The switch, the lighting, yeah.
but oh no, because the Connect switch doesn't even need power to it, does it?
No.
It just no.
So if you don't know what anyone listening and watching, if you don't know what
Everyone knows what
kinetic or
kinetic is.
kinetic, not everyone, it's a completely wireless and batteryless switch. It uses your kinetic energy when you push it, changes the force you put on it, changes it from kinetic into a spark, which is an IR signal, and changes that's registered to the light switch.
Terrible. That's a terrible explanation. Uses kinetic energy to power a transmitter that transmits an RF frequency to a receiver.
Yes, I know, but that's what I'm saying about it was exactly the same.
Yeah, but mine sounded like
Yeah, because you just copied what I said without me mumbling. That's why.
Whatever, mate.
Yeah. So anyway, it means there's no battery needed. Once it's linked up to the receiver, it's pretty much good for years, years and years and years. And they have a range, I think, of about 100 meters. Are really really far.
They're like a normal house. They do easily. I don't know how scalable. So they're not smart switches, are they?
They're both, so you can have them Wi-Fi enabled as well.
Oh, you
To make
can.
them smart, you can make them off the Alexa, off Google, and everything.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, I think that's awesome then,
Yeah,
because it's quite a reliable bit of kit. So it's not like I've got one on my outdoor lighting.
I'm just thinking, can you or not?
I see. I don't. No, well, no. How
I've
would?
never done it. I know you can do them off the Wi. Yeah, you must be able to, because if they're off the Wi-Fi, it's not the
Ah,
switch that connects to the Alexa; it's the receiver.
this
Yeah, of course
receiver
you
does
can.
all the. I think you need a Wi-Fi. I bet you could get like a dumb one and a smart one.
Yeah, so I buy the bottom end one because that's all we've needed. I've not
They're not
actually
even
fitted a
that
smart
dear.
one.
They're not even that dear.
Switch for a basic one, switch and a receiver. The Energy that I use is about 39 quid
I
for
don't
the
even think I
set.
use Kinetic. I think I use something else.
Yeah, I use Energy. It's called, and they're the big paddle
I think I
switches.
use Verve or something. I don't know. Can't find it. But I use another one, and I've had that on my house for a couple of years now.
Yeah,
And
it's brilliant technology. Brilliant.
yeah, it's smart. It's very very clever. It's very clever. I might keep the camera now. Hold on. Oh, yeah, it's very clever.
What did you
I'm a
just do
fan of
then?
it. Huh?
What did you just do then?
Well, I've got a stool from the kitchen, and I'm sitting on the
Almost like you just
sofa.
tried to flop something out and you went, oh, there we go.
No, that's my
Literally, that's what
fat
it was
leg,
like.
not something else. No,
No,
not
won't
that
flop out.
blessed. Um, just, just not. No, I like the kinetic stuff. I think it's really good. Or the kinetic switching, whatever. I think it's really good. I don't know. Here's a question for you. Would you like your house rewired in it?
Yeah, 100%. I've got a few switches dotted around. I did a walk-in wardrobe in our bedroom upstairs. That was put in. I put the stud wall in and everything afterwards. There was no cable because there's no loft hatch upstairs. So I just took the feed off the socket, fed it up, spurred it down, switch, did the outside lights off it. Really, I like it, rate it.
Yeah, I think it's hard to argue against it. Although it definitely won't ever last as long
No,
as normal wired.
no.
So you might have
But
an issue in 10 years when it all goes haywire.
maybe, but the only thing you would have to do would be change the switch and receiver. And what we do on the rewires, we put a big AD box either in the airing cupboard that will cover downstairs and then in the loft for upstairs. It's always located, it's always labeled up exactly what's what. It's a very simple thing to unscrew the lid, isolate it, take a receiver out, put a new one in, pair it up. It's so simple and quick to do. If there's a broken one, it's a quick fix rather than having to go around and test everything.
Wait, so you don't put it above the light then? You wire the
No.
light to a
Yeah,
receiver
it's
box.
like literally a hub in there. We put two hubs in, and it
Oh,
makes life
okay.
easier because you have one continuous wire from the hub to the light. So if there's anything broken that way, you know it's that cable.
So
Everything's
you just
labeled
have
up
a
on.
radial from the hub to the
Yeah. So
upstairs.
we have a
Radial.
literally feed into the hub, and then it spiders out. You can either do a big block of Wagos or Ideals that will split it, or we just link in, link out to each receiver, and then you have one cable to each light fin. It's so
Oh,
much simpler.
mate, that's a touch, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. It just means when you're rewiring houses as well, you're not taking switch drops up. You literally, most of the time, you can get, let's say I tip my light down here. If you know which way the joists run, you rod it down to a central point from every bedroom, and you only ever have to take up one board across the landing.
And what's it like with spotlights?
Easy peasy. You just wire it to the first spotlight, and then you just link them all through.
And there's no
There's no
like
delay.
minimum load or like
Minimum.
maximum
I
load.
think the receiver works up to. I think it can take 5 or 6 amps, but obviously your breaker is 5 or 6 amps anyway.
Oh,
So
so it's not going to burn out or anything.
no, no, it has an internal glass fuse anyway. So if it was to protect itself, the fuse would go itself before anything
And you
else.
can swap that out.
Yeah,
Well, it seems like there's. But I'm sold.
it's good, isn't it? And the
I'm
difference
sold.
between the Energy stuff, so the cheaper ones that I buy, the module for the receiver has to be within an enclosure because it doesn't have any place for you to link out CPCs or a cover for your single insulated cable. But the Kinetic ones, which are more expensive, they come literally as almost like a transformer you'd have for a 12-volt downlight where you can hardwire it in and cover it over.
Okay.
So you can have them screwed to a joist in a loft if you wanted to without having to put it in a box.
Ooh.
And they do the grid switches as well. So the Kinetic that we did the very first rewire with them, you buy the MK grid switches that you screw into the wall, and the switches for the Kinetic stuff fit into them, so they actually look like a normal little light switch.
Oh, okay. Because the ones I've got are like a fat
Paddle.
square.
Yeah, mine's a big fat paddle, which works really well because most of the time when we do this people's houses, it's elderly couples who don't want to damage their wallpaper, but equally a nice big switch on the wall. And we also always pair up another one and put it next to their bed. So if they ever fall out of bed in the night or they need to get up, they've got it next to their bed.
Listen, love, I'm going to put it next to your bed just in case you fall out like an idiot.
No, how these things happen. Caring for the elderly, I'll put one next to Dave's bed just in case, and next to the fridge.
That's
Bless
hilarious. No, mate, I didn't think of that. I didn't. Do you know what? I've always thought of it as like sling it in where you can't be asked to put a switch.
Yeah, no. It completely overtakes everything. So when I'm actually doing rewires now, we're having to put switch drops in. You're like, oh, and then you got your 2 or 3 way. This is literally hold the button down on the receiver for 5 seconds, press the switch, and then you want a 2 way. You just hold it down on the same receiver, press another switch, and it's just so simple to do 2 3-way lighting.
Now, here's a question you might not want to answer, but you're going to have to. Is the pricing differential between switch drops and a kinetic system?
So there's not, if you work out, I did a rewire quoted for that and a kind of kinetic and a normal one, and there was about 200 quid difference if for the kinetic one was slightly more expensive because you're saving yourself chasing time on every single switch drop. It's so much less effort and less floorboards up, and labor wise it's less intensive. The only thing is the materials are a lot more. So if you actually work out how much time, it's not a lot of difference. The only benefit is for the customer that they're not having to repair all the switch drop walls and plaster
And
it.
whereas it might take you 5 days to do a normal rewire, with that's got to shave off time.
You could do upstairs and downstairs lighting in a day easily.
Jesus.
Yeah. So it's the future going forward. They've brought out bigger versions now. You can get like a 20 amp version for outside sockets, so you can isolate a socket bottom of the garden with a kinetic switch as well.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so it's getting there. Then you can do them in kids' bedrooms. If you want to put a socket in, you put a receiver in the back or next to it. And let's say you want the kids to turn a lamp off or whatever, you can just turn it on and off from your phone as well. So
how annoying would that be if you're a kid?
Yeah. Well, I nearly fitted one because I changed my fuse board not long ago at home. And I bought one. I meant to do it. I just ran out of time in the video. But I was going to put a kinetic switch on the upstairs lighting. So knowing full well the kids constantly leave the bloody light. I can come home early before everyone, before mid the half, and come home and every single bloody light fits on upstairs. It's a little master switch near the front door. So as you go out, you go bang, off. Upstairs lights are all cut off.
Why does that bother you?
Because my house, I've had my neighbors constantly saying to me, your house is a little like Christmas. I don't care. It's just now the neighbors are going, we can see everything you do because every window is open. All the windows, blinds are open, and every single light is open on.
So you're tight about having a 2-watt light on.
It's not even 2 watt. No, I'm not. I don't care about the electricity at all.
I feel
it's
like
just
you do.
annoying.
I feel like that's a dad moan. Put the lights out.
I just feel like saying turn the lights off. It doesn't need to be on. It's like when they walk into the bathroom in the middle of the day on the weekend, normal day, like sunlight everywhere. They turn the light on to go and have a wee, and I'll go around and turn the light off. Why have you done that? I said, you don't need the light on. Yeah, I do. I'm in the toilet. I said, it's daylight. You can see what you're doing. You don't need the light on. It really annoys me. I stood outside constantly and just when I redid the bathroom, I purposely put the light switch on the outside so the kids can't keep going in there and turning it on.
Do you know what? I've realised that in my house, one of the things that winds me up the most is they put a door in the bathroom, but they put the light switch behind the opening of the door. So, and I was like,
you need a kinetic switch point there.
Yeah, I'm thinking I've got to sort that out one day.
Yeah.
Quite easily put a kinetic switch on.
Done.
Sweet. I might. Do you know what? What electrician? Listen. Leave this comment in the show notes. What electrician can actually be asked to change their own fuse board? Because I could never envision the day where I do my own fuse board.
It's taken me 7 years living here and getting one for free to do a video on YouTube to physically change my own fuse board. I didn't just move it though. I didn't just change it. I moved it into another cupboard. I moved it into downstairs toilet because it was behind the fridge, and every time it tripped, I couldn't get to it.
Mine's underneath the stairs. It's going to
Oh,
stay
fire
there.
risk. C2.
Or is that a thing now, is it?
Yeah, it's fire escaping it. You can't have them below staircases. And in new builds, old builds, you can't get around it.
Well, that's a new thing then. My, mine's under the stairs. I can't see me ever moving it.
Yeah,
Or
unless you
redoing
buy the
it.
house.
Like, it's a plastic one. I think it's a 16th edition board. I don't even know. I don't even care.
Mine was
I think I've looked at it twice.
mine was 16th edition, but there was one RCD covering all the sockets, which was usual. But then they changed the main switch to 100 milliamp RCD to give RCD protection on the light-in. But so you had discrimination between the 30 milliamp and the 100 milliamp.
Don't know what that means.
It's so if there was a trip on the 30 milliamp, it wouldn't kick out the 100 milliamp covering it.
Oh, that's not good then.
No, it's gone now anyway.
But no, listen, I'm so bored of pretending to know stuff. I just don't know anything about domestic stuff. I'm really a domestic div.
And I don't know virtually anything about commercial industrial. I've not done it for so long.
Neither do I. I basically only know how to cut trunking and do a little bit of tube. That's it. But no, to be honest with you, mate, that sounds pretty awesome. I'm going to get some Connect stuff going on. Because this is the thing, I've got to do the kitchen soon. Kitchen and dining room we're going to make into one. So I think that might be the move. Connect switching. It's so much work, doesn't it? So much work.
I did all mine just before we moved in the house. I took a month off work and did every single room I physically could till it was livable to get here. And I'm still, my other half just saying to me, I want to paint the staircase. Brilliant. Need to have it replastered. We're just having the outside of the house rendered in the back in the utility room.
See, I've got to get my house. Do you know, my house is pebble dashed.
Yeah.
And painted 4,000 times.
Pebble
dashed. You know, like council estate pebble dash. That's been painted 1,000 times. It's barely pebble dash now.
Yeah, the house is actually 4 meters bigger just from paint.
Yeah. So it's that. It's not a council house. Well, at least I don't. It might have been once upon a time, but it ain't now. But yeah, so I've got to do all that on mine. But anyway, this is a show for electricians, not us moaning about our DIY projects. What am I doing?
Well, yeah, what are you doing, Sam?
So this week I oh sorry, I'm just installing a CT scanner on a children's ward.
Oh God, you talked about CT scanners loads of times. Yeah. Sorry, Sam, please continue.
So just saving children. I don't know what you're doing with your day.
You're not saving children.
I'm part of the team that
that are taking money from the hospital. Yeah. You were saving children, you'd be doing it for free.
Maybe. The doctors do it for free?
Some.
No, they don't. No. So yeah, it's so I finished off the Ipswich job last week, and that was really stressful. I didn't get to test it till literally 12 o'clock, and I was like, Mark, are you available to help me do some testing?
Did he come? Did he?
No, he FaceTimed me, so that was good. Because do you know what? When you're mate, it was a nightmare.
Testing it.
Yeah, but it's not like testing on a house, Nick. There's a.
Do you want to tell everyone when you rang me the other day?
Tell the story. Tell the story. I was sitting there. I was so confused.
Sam rang me.
Story.
Sam rang me. Yeah, you did ring me. It wasn't FaceTime, and he was like, "Nick, I've got a problem." I said, "What's up?" He says, and this was in one of the hospitals, wasn't it? He said, "I'm testing the ring main, but how do you know if it's broken?" I said, "Well, because the test reading like this open ends, there's no continuity." Yeah, that's what I've got. That's what I've got. But there was a ring earlier. So right, so what are you testing? He says, I've took a socket off and I've split it and I'm trying to test it through. I said, brilliant. Have you taken any more sockets off? He went, yeah, the one next to me. I said, have you put it back together? He went, no. That's your problem, Sam. And he went, shit, yeah. And then just put the phone down.
This is the thing. And this is a legit problem for commercial sparks, right? This is a legit problem. I spent so many years installing rather than problem solving on like
fault finding everything,
fault finding and stuff like that the dumbest things you get flustered with.
Oh, I know.
and throwing myself into this job where, sometimes I have sparks with me that I can sort of send off to do stuff, but the reality is it all falls on my plate. And this was the same thing with the testing on Friday. It was, so basically you've got the intake room or the switch room, if you like, and the ring goes through 3 or 4 different rooms.
Yeah.
Before it gets to my room, and I've only added some sockets in my room. So, and it's simply impossible to get shutdown order for the other rooms because they're doing all kinds of things. So, how do you test the ring?
If you can't turn it off, I think. Well, the only test you can do is the ZS on the ring on each point to make sure you've got continuity and polarity correct.
So,
but you need to do your ring ends. But how do you do that without turning the power off?
Exactly. So I couldn't. So yes, I could turn the power off, but if anything's wrong in them other rooms, I've now got to go and put them right. Otherwise, I'm not going to get a test reading.
Well, you should have tested it beforehand to make sure it was okay before you did
testing beforehand. It took 10 days to get a shutdown on it.
Did you know what I mean? That's logistically.
Yeah,
that's
so
what
10 days to get a shutdown order to shut down this ring because it goes through so many different rooms.
Mm.
And then they put temporary power in there, and then now they've turned it back on before I wanted them to, and now I've got to test the ring. So do you know what I did? And this is going to be controversial.
I'm no part of this.
I got another shutdown order,
right?
To quickly turn it off. I disconnected the main incomer and the main. So I kind of knew where the feed coming into my room was from.
Yep.
So that part of the ring, where that was, what room that was coming from into my room, I tested from that point onwards. So I disconnected it.
And you tested your new bit of the ring?
I tested the ring in my room.
Well, yeah, you can do that.
And then I put it all back together, and that was my test results. Because
you're doing end to end, it doesn't matter where you do it from personally. As long as it's still the same ring all the way through, as long as it's the resistance is going to be the same, the polarity. There's not really a massive difference. The only thing that we like to do is if we link them through a crocodile, let's say we make the ring back and we bell out the plug top tester and we test from the different points. But if you're just doing end to ends, people do that as well.
I had to do my end to ends from the beginning point.
Outlet. Yeah.
Because otherwise I can't. The other thing is getting permission to go in all them other rooms.
Yeah.
It was, I don't know, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, Friday afternoon. You ain't getting them permissions. It's the last day of the job. Yeah, there was a million reasons why it was left to the last day, but the reality was, what do you do in that situation? And how do you shut down a board with, I don't know,
a lot of stuff running off it.
30 breakers in to work safely. That's another thing we don't talk about, like as electricians. So I've got a board with like, I don't know, it's a 3-phase board going everywhere in this particular part of the hospital. There is no way, and I mean no way, they're going to let you shut down that board.
To take the lid off. No.
Take the lid off. Not a thing. It's simply not a thing.
I don't even know who'd go about it, to be honest.
It's not a thing.
Yeah.
Like, no, you can't shut down the whole ward. What's wrong with you?
Mm.
And this is real world sparking that perhaps gets missed.
I think the only thing you can look at that is you rely on, I know people hate the word competent spark, but someone that is going to do the job, but know they do it correctly and as safely as possible. That's the only thing I can put input on it. It's not the right thing to do, but some situations, real world stuff, you cannot get around it.
Right thing to do. I think it is the right thing to do. I think
no, on pen and paper in the book,
no,
it's not the right thing to do.
No,
but in real world,
I disagree.
Oh, really?
Disagree. Yeah, I piss on the book, and here's why.
Brilliant.
And here's why. And this is what really gets my goat, because when you're presented with a real world scenario like that, and you're on a time crunch, and these things happen, and it's not like a rarity. These things happen. These things happen often. You're on a time crunch. You've got to get it done. People are depending on you. The hospital needs it back on. They don't care. No one cares. Get it back on. What do? I am going to quote EAWR. And they go, listen, mate, if you don't do it, I'm going to do it myself. Now you're an arsehole.
Everyone let us know in the comments. I know it completely where you're going from, 100%. But all I'm getting at is in your own college, the lads that are being taught, like Adam in college, it's the power gets isolated before the board come off.
But what's he doing in that situation?
Well,
If
he
he's
wouldn't.
only
I
ever
don't
been
know.
taught, you only do it like this. What's he do?
I don't know.
Well then, it's
That's
not
what
the
I'm
right way to
saying.
teach
I am
people, is it?
agreeing with you. I am agreeing with you, but I'm saying on pen and paper, there'd be realistically pen on paper. Let's say in your situation, there's no way to do the job because
No.
it can't be isolated safely, and that's it. Like, all right, we're done with
You
the
just
job.
go, walk out, close the door.
Yeah,
Not getting done.
mic drop.
Goodbye.
Don't send in the invoice.
Yeah, it's just a whole load of nonsense.
Yeah.
And you just don't do it by yourself. You have someone there with you. You wear the correct PPE and you do it. And
But you
that's
save
all
your glasses on.
See, the thing is, right?
Okay.
See, the thing is, listen. I've got a picture. I don't know if I can link to it of what I had to make off into. Honestly, shocking, shocking, mate. I had to make off.
Sam's just going through his phone up and that's on audio. Oh, and then his last tab has just opened.
Look.
He's currently showing me a picture. Other way, mate. Other way, that's it. It is a armored cable, 3-phase. What size is that?
But these here are like modules, like nodules. And you have to pull the rubber back and then connect onto them and then put the rubber over the top.
Mint? What idiot designed that?
and like you can only shut off your bar. Like so only your buzz bar, not bus bar. You can only shut that off. But you can easily touch the one above and easily touch the one below. Because you've got because each
not
one
if you're wearing your big red rubber gloves, you'd be fine.
Mate, it is so dodgy in there. And it's not just that, it's like, what if you drop, I don't know, all right, you should be using insulated tools. But let's, for argument's sake, say that you can't afford a £1,000 set of Boddington insulated things.
I'll humour you. Okay.
Right?
Right.
And you use a spanner and you drop it across two of the live phases.
I'm not gonna beat around the bush here. I think if you do that, you deserve what's coming to you for using an uninsulated screwdriver across 2 live buzz bars and go, oh, I hope this is safe.
No, but what I'm saying is, when you're presented with these uber dangerous situations, I mean, I was
Just
like,
don't do them.
what are we gonna do here? And it's like the last day, you got to clamp it all on.
What you should do, anyone in this situation, is ring Mark Allison and run this one to him. He'll get it.
And that's
No
what
problem.
I did. I was like, Mark, what do I do? And
What do I do?
like, so I had to. I'm not even gonna lie, I did it.
You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. This is the last podcast that Sam will be on. He'll be in prison as of tomorrow.
The police are coming.
Did you bet you cut the seals as well on the main fuse, didn't you? He pulled the main fuse, everyone. That's it. Yeah. Bye-bye, Sam. Yeah. It'll be me and Dave next week, everyone. We'll have a nice chat.
Yeah, because, like E5 are going to phone the police. I'm going to be in court and there's going to be a lawyer. There's going to be all that. And I'm going to be going to prison. Yep. I'm not, listen.
I'll send you a letter once a year.
But I'm not promoting doing things like that.
No,
what
you're not.
What I'm saying is, that's a real world scenario where I'm under the gun to get job finished that day. There is no going back. There's no going back.
Just from now on, put everything on a 13-amp plug and you'd have to test it. Bang, in. It's temporary feed. Done.
Why didn't I think of that?
Idiot. You don't have to turn anything off then.
Or just put it all on kinetic switching.
Done.
Easy.
Right. Thanks everyone for watching and listening, and we'll see you next week. Maybe with a guest, maybe not.
Well, yeah.
Yes, no, maybe. Probably Dave.
I don't know.
We're sick of talking to Sam again. We'll get Dave involved. It's nice.
No,
Sam
you know what?
sit quietly.
It all depends what the subject is. I ain't decided yet.
What we got?
Well, I don't know. I have to sort of. I lay here and I think about it, and I'm like, well, we'll do that next week.
Well, let's ask everyone for suggestions. What do you lot want us to talk about?
Good shout.
What subjects are there? What would interest you? Back on pricing, vans, self-employment, the tax man. Ugh. Loads of stuff. Anything that you guys are interested or want to learn a little bit on, and we could waffle about for an hour. And if it's a fairly interesting subject, we'll get someone on board that is much cleverer than me and Sam put together.
It's not.
And maybe you'll get a drawn-out conversation that might make sense.
I think our conversation tonight made perfect sense.
Yeah, for the people in Stockport.
Right, Monday Club, we're out.